Hello everyone, my name is Oliver East and today I'm here to talk to you about this game. What's the name? It's not on the box, at least not on the front, it's Canvas. Let me teach you how to play the game and then I'll come back to you and give my thoughts. So at the beginning of the game you're going to place this canvas mat down the middle. You're going to select 4 different scoring cards, although you can actually use less for a slightly easier game. You're going to take 5 cards from the deck box, 5 of these art cards, and put them along. And each player is going to get 3 of these background cards. These are sleeved, and the idea of these is that while this colour doesn't really matter at all, you're going to be laying these pictures over as if it's a canvas to sort of make your picture. Players will also take 4 inspiration tokens from the middle and they will then be their currency they can spend to skip cards. On your turn you will choose to either take a card from the middle or when you have at least 3 cards you can create and complete a painting. If you have 5 of these cards in your hand you must do that complete action. So let's see how that works. If I want to take this card, the leftmost, from the display into my hand, it's free, and I would just take that card. If, however, I wanted to skip it and maybe take this melancholy one with some rain and an umbrella, I would pay 1 of my inspiration tokens to skip over that card and take this into my hand. You can skip as many cards as you can afford with inspiration tokens if you really want to, but bear in mind you can only ever take the leftmost one for free. Once you've taken from here it's going to be refilled, so the market always has 5 cards and cards will slide down to the left. If on a future turn you were to take a card with a token on it, that token goes into your supply as well as the card going into your hand. That's how you're going to get them back. And again, the cards will slide across and a new one will be taken, drawn from the deck box. Once you have at least 3 cards, you can complete a painting. Now, you can put these in any order, and you can see that's important here because this blue and this blue will actually cover each other up, depending on which way you put it around. This then gets slid into one of your backgrounds and that is what you're going to be scoring. It also creates a very nice picture. In this case, a melancholy escape. This person, you're maybe peering through a window here out into the rain and this person's decided to run away from the dry of the umbrella. A very melancholy escape indeed. But how does this actually score? Well, we look at the things along the bottom, and if I just take one of these cards out, you can instantly see what colours haven't been used. So looking at this in here, we would compare it to the scoring objectives along the top. Variety here requires to have all 4 symbols. We actually do have all 4 symbols at least once, and if you were to have it more than once, you would actually score it multiple times. In this case, we only have each of the 4 symbols depicted once, so we would take a red ribbon. The next one, style, requires 3 of these sort of diagonal patterns. We've got that, and that means we take 1 green ribbon. Repetition needs 2 triangles. Again, we have 2 triangles. This is a very good scoring card. And the last one, composition, requires all 5 colours. We do have that, so we can take a purple. Now, unfortunately, we don't have anything that's going to score as silver ribbons on this one, which are going to be always worth 2 points at the end of the game. So let's maybe take a look at another card. If we are instead maybe scoring Heightened Nightmare here, we don't have all of the symbols because we don't have that colour wheel one. We don't have 3 of the diagonal patterns. We do have 2 triangles, so we would score a blue ribbon. We do have all 5 colours, so we'd score a purple. And then this silver one here is we get a silver ribbon per sun symbol, which we do have 1 of. Now we could be getting multiple of those from this card, but we're only doing it once in this case. So we would take the silver one and add it to our scoring pile. When you have 5 of these artwork cards in your hand, like I said, you must create a picture. You can no longer take from the middle. So let's say I was just going to be adding these 3 into my final painting. I have then, once I have scored this painting, this heavy nature, I would then have finished my game. Everyone else plays out until they have got 3 completed artworks, and then you work out how many points you've got. Each of these scoring cards are going to tell you how much they are worth. So for instance, this is red. At the end, say I had exactly 1 red, it would get me 4 points. If I had 2, I'd be scoring 8, and 3 or more, 13. Because it is possible to do some of them, like this repetition, twice on 1 artwork, you can, in some cases, go all the way up to 4 ribbons, scoring a huge 16 points. At the end, silvers are always worth 2, whereas the coloured ones, they're going to be worth the points based on the cards. And whoever has the most points wins. If there's a tie at this point, whoever's got the most of these inspiration tokens, they win. And if there's still a tie, a neutral player decides who has the best artwork and declares them the winner. And that's how to play Canvas. So first of all, the production quality. Now, putting aside some of the extra like wooden tokens from the sort of Kickstarter Deluxe edition, it's all about the artwork cards. This is something production-wise which is in very few games, and wow, does it add a wow to the game. I mean, you couldn't do this sort of experience without it, with the way that these bottom bits shine through and you have to layer them up and decide which ones. So for components, it's super, super strong. And it's all thanks to these art cards, which are just wonderful. They create incredible images and they cause people to look at the game and want to play. And that, from production quality, that's all you want. It to look great, be solid, you know, they are... You might just be able to hear that. They're fair, you know, you can waggle them around and it's not going to do them any damage. It's a lovely production, and that only elevates the game. Straight out of the bat, the gameplay is very simple. It's not going to be one for those heavy Euro fans. This is an entry-level game. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not without its choices. On your turn, you might have the choice between drawing a card from the market and maybe spending some tokens to pick something up, or to actually create a painting. It doesn't sound like much, but actually there is a lot of choice there. First of all, how much is that one down the market worth to you? Is it that good that it's worth spending all of your inspiration tokens? Not always, because if you can't get any inspiration tokens back because they're kind of gone from the cards before it's your next turn, you've got to take the free one. And having choice in this game of what to take, even if it's just between the first 2 or 3, that is huge. Not having to rely on what is that free leftmost card. So you've got a good choice there of, is it worth me skipping them for this one card? And it might be. You've then got the other choices when it comes to using them. The fact that they overlay in different ways, and you can cover one up, hide another one, you do, with 5 cards in your hand, have a lot of potential ways to put all of them to be 3 in an order. And that I have seen for what is a very simple gateway style game, I have seen that slow the game down incredibly. As someone's got to their turn, they've got 5 artwork cards and they're just struggling to work out, right, that one goes with that one, but then if I put that, it covers this, and I want to score that objective and that objective. And I've seen it slow down to a plod when someone's got 5 of those artwork cards and they're going through pretty much every combination. It's almost a sort of game where you don't want to take it that seriously. I've played a number of times and I win very, very infrequently. And that's mostly because I'm making cool pictures, and that to me is a lot of fun, and scoring some points along the way, that's cool as well. So if I'm doing all right on points, but this is, you know, I'm not going to do it just because it's a cool picture. Hopefully it will score me points at the same time, but I'm distracted by the artwork in a good way. It means that even if I lose, as I normally do, I've had a good time because I've made my 3 pictures. Now, some people will spend that extra time, that little bit of analysis paralysis, which is weird for such a light game. That can creep in and slow the game down. And if you're playing with the maximum players of 5, if it's that person next to you that's taking their time, it's still got to go all the way round the table. And that really does slow the game down, and it feels like, okay, there's nothing I can do. There's no point in me looking at the market, because at least chances are half of the other players are going to take some, maybe everyone else will take some, so that's the majority of this market gone. So lower player counts means that even if there is that problem, you can still kind of look at what you might be getting, and I think maybe I enjoy it at that. Mostly because you're not ever sat there for too long. Whereas at 5, if a couple of people are slow, you could be sat there for a bit long. Variety from game to game is often important, and it's not just going to be coming out from the art cards and what they offer you. It's by these sort of objective cards. Now, one bit that's really great about this, not only is there a huge stack of them in the box, on the back of the rule book there's sort of a set, at least like 10 different options for you to sort of do predetermined sets of these. They also spin round and give you the clarification, so you can just shuffle them out, put them down, and then if anyone around the table is not 100%, they can just look and quite quick and easily, without diving into the rule book, know how that objective scores. And it means you can just, after one game, if you're wanting to play another, which does happen quite a bit, you can take all of these off to the side, shuffle up the rest of them, put them out, 4 new objectives, and you're almost ready to go again at that point. Part of that variety isn't just that they change, it's how they sort of differently overlap. In some cases, it's going to want you to get every symbol or a selection of the symbols. Some of them it's, well, actually, it only wants you to get one of a certain symbol. And that can mean at times it's quite hard to actually hit all of the 4. Now, if you're managing to hit all 4 of the objectives and get a ribbon of each colour every round, you're doing really well. Most people get 3 ribbons, and that's including maybe a silver 1 or 2 for their artwork cards. But if you take your time and you think about it, you can tick all of the boxes. You know, if you play your cards right. And it's nice that sometimes they overlap, and sometimes if I'm going to be doing this one, that one there is going to be harder. Okay, well in that case, I'll go for more of the red ribbons to try and get the 3, because that's scoring me more points than if I just picked up a couple of them and a couple of them. Like this composition one, for instance. It's just worth 1 point if you do it on the first one. But if you do all 3, it's worth 9 points. That's quite good. If each of your cards have all of the colours, that's not too hard to do. But is it worth maybe not getting those 9 and triggering a couple of the others a bit more? Well, it gives the players the choices, at least. Theme-wise, wow, it is exactly what you would expect from the beautiful canvas box. You are artists, regardless of how weird and surreal the cards are. And I would love to play like a game of Dixit with the arts that the game creates. You are taking these individual elements and creating sort of some stunning artworks, and it does make you feel like you are painting them up and putting them in your canvas, and that is your artwork, and showing it off to all the other players and saying, you know, here is let's see, a dream, Curiosity Dreams, because you've put those cards in the right order. That's a really cool thing when you're showing your artwork off and everyone around the table goes, that's pretty cool. And the fact that's even a tiebreaker, I kind of wish that it was like the first tiebreaker rather than just like a secondary one, because it's a lot of fun making really cool artwork that captures the theme of painting. So all in all, it makes sense that why you're sort of painting these elements together, even though it might be very surreal when you're done. There is the slight issue that, as I've said, I enjoy the fact that the artwork distracts me. Actually, you're only, for points, interested in this very small bottom section. The top half where the artwork itself isn't of any importance. And that could be annoying to some. I think it's very clear. It's like the iconography that they use is very simple, easy to read. At a glance, you've got no problems. It doesn't need to take up any more of the room. But it does feel slightly odd that I would say a good 80% of the card is effectively not needed. It's only the very bottom 20% that's actually to do with scoring in the game. But it is that 80% of artwork that makes it look phenomenal and make me want to get it back to the table time and time again. I think this is going to be brilliant for introducing new players to the hobby, or just playing when you don't necessarily want to scratch your head too much, but maybe one or two people around the table do, and they can be the ones that sort of really try and maximise their points, and everyone else can just have a good time playing. That's what Canvas is to me, and I think so many people are going to enjoy it. I will give it an 8 out of 10. And there we have it. That is Canvas. Make sure if you do check it out to let us know in the comments section below what you thought of it. And until next time, check out other news, reviews and such on the Dice Tower.